All right, tonight, as we continue to monitor the results of the primaries going on around the country, it is shaping up to be another reminder about the power of President Trump and his endorsement. Now, just a short while ago, we saw the president's support swing the Texas Senate primary race in favor of Ken Paxton. And now Paxton has to face radical Democrat James Talarico, probably the single most woke, far-left radical extremist ever to seek statewide office in the state of Texas. And a state with Beto Bozo, that's saying a lot. Now, thanks, of course, he thinks that God is non-binary. And according to newly unearthed audio, apparently Talarico also believes that God is not a Christian. Okay, take a look.
Rigging this economy against all of us, whether you're on the left or the right. And so it's why I say that the real fight is top versus bottom, because it's all of us who are getting screwed, who have to come together.
Today, Christian nationalists obsess over people's private parts while the planet burns. God is not a Presbyterian. God is not a Christian. God is not a noun at all. God is a verb. God is not a being. God is being itself.
Let's see. God who sent, God so loved the world, he sent his only begotten Son, Jesus. Oh, sorry. Anyway, our Father who art in heaven. No, I'm sorry. 6 genders that are in heaven. Only a small sample of what is insane rhetoric from James Talarico. Here's more.
The American flag is such a complicated symbol for most of us, and in many ways, like Jesus, like the cross, it's been co-opted and in some ways, its true meaning has been betrayed.
Our trans community needs abortion care too. There are many more than 2 biological sexes. In fact, there are 6.
God is both masculine and feminine and everything in between. God is non-binary. Prophetic voices like Jesus have helped me reckon with my own whiteness, my own masculinity.
It is now existential that we try to reduce our meat consumption and that we try to respect animals. I am proud to say that our campaign has officially become a non-meat campaign.
Oh, a non-meat campaign in the cattle state of Texas. And as President Trump said on Truth Social today, we cannot allow that to happen to the great state of Texas. Now, Trump posted that message after meeting with Ken Paxton, who joins us right now. Let's go through this. And by the way, if he has a woman as a neighbor, that would be a neighbor with a uterus, just as a surprise. I don't find the American flag very complicated, nor do I find Christianity complicated. Non-binary God. Boy, all these years, Ken, I thought that I was praying the Lord's Prayer, Our Father. I don't know, is it our 6 genders? Or the fact that he believes in 6 genders? If you know what the other 4 are, please tell our audience. They want to know.
Talk about making things complicated. The flag is not complicated. The sexes are not complicated. I don't think God is complicated. It's a pretty simple message, and I don't think he understands Christianity in any form or fashion. I think that's why you'll see the president getting behind this campaign, behind my campaign, to stop this radical. And that's why everybody needs to go to my website, kenpaxton.com, and help me.
Does he know he lives in the state of Texas, by the way? A welcome mat for illegals. God is non-binary, 6 genders. We're going to run a meat-free campaign. And he's against energy. He's a climate alarmist. Has no problem with men and women's sports. Anything else I'm missing, Ken?
Yeah, the list is actually remarkable that you're claiming to be the guy that's going to be representing the state of Texas, and you have a vegan campaign. You don't respect the flag. You don't understand God. We don't have 2 sexes. He says you're not a Christian if you support the oil and gas industry. I mean, and then you want the border to be a welcome mat for illegals. I don't know how, if he's trying to lose race, but he certainly is not endearing himself to most Texas voters.
Not at all. All right, tell us about the meeting with President Trump tonight.
Tell you what, I love President Trump. Every time I'm around him, it's infectious. His love for this country, and he certainly understands this race really well. We spent a lot of time talking about it today. He's going to be behind this campaign. He's going to lend his support in all kinds of different ways. I expect that he'll show up a few times in Texas to campaign with me, and I think there's a very good chance we're gonna be seeing his great involvement because he cares about the state of Texas and obviously cares about America.
All right, Ken Paxton, we're going to watch this race closely. Democrats putting their hope in Texas are wasting their money. There's my prediction, but you take every election seriously. Ken Paxton, thank you. All right, thanks for watching. Check out my new podcast, Hanging Out with me, Sean Hannity. The big interviews, the debates you won't get anywhere else. Like and subscribe for new episodes every Tuesday and Thursday.